everybody, Heather from New Zealand. This video is all about 3 elements, 3 hacks or tricks or steps of making habits stick, making it so you will follow through and you will do them. So if you're interested in that, and also in the journey that I'm going on with tiny habits for big changes, please keep watching and I'll fill you in. Okay, let's get right into it. These videos are all about tiny habits, using tiny habits to make very big changes in your life. And in the previous videos, I've talked about some of the theory or ideas behind how this is possible. So I'm not going to go into that now because you can watch some of those other videos for that. What I am going to talk about today is 3 hacks, 3 steps, 3 principles, 3 ideas, whatever you want to call it, 3 things that need to be present for you to create a new habit and be successful in making that habit stick, making it a part of your life on an ongoing basis, because that's what we're shooting for here. I'll name these 3 things briefly and then I'll explain them a bit further, because initially you think, well, that's a no-brainer, but if you get some idea of what I'm talking about on a deeper level, you might find that it's actually more effective. So do keep listening. So the first one is you have to have a trigger. For something to happen, you need to have a trigger event. The next thing that you need to have is you need to be able to do it. No-brainer? Maybe not. You need to be able to do it. And the next one is you have to have the motivation to do it. So those are 3 things. Let's talk about them a bit further. So the trigger, let's talk about that one first. Have you ever received an email or a message from somebody who's reminded you about something they needed to do and you go, oh yes, I must do that, and you get on and do it straight away? That was a trigger event, and there's lots of things that can be that. If you want to set up habits, you need to create those trigger events for yourself. I talked earlier about having a drink of water every time I go to the bathroom. Okay, that is creating a trigger event, okay, to remind myself, oh, I've had a drink, I've been to the bathroom, I'll have a drink. There is a myriad of other ways you can set up trigger events for yourself. The easiest way to do that, as I've said before in other videos, is with piggybacking onto something you already do. So, trigger event. Now, if you don't have anything that you can attach it to, you can create something new. Now, that might be an alarm on your clock. It could be that you decide you want to put a post-it note where you see it, where you're going to see it. So it's like, oh, that's a trigger event. So put some time and energy into creating trigger events for yourself. I have a diary, and I find that if I write it in the diary, I'll do it. Why? Because I constantly throughout my day look at my diary and I'm getting triggered. Every time I look at my diary, I am reminded that I need to do that particular activity. So it's constantly giving me a trigger again and again and again until I've crossed it off my diary. Another thing I like to use is checklists. Now, you're not me. You'll find things that work for you. But think about how can you create a trigger for any new habit that you want to do. I can think of an unhealthy trigger that I have. And that is every time I have a cup of tea, you know what I want to do? I want a cake. I want a cookie. I want something sweet to go with it. That's an example of a bad habit, being attached to an activity and becoming a trigger. I know that for people who smoke, they have times of the day when they'll just have a cigarette. Again, it's a trigger. Okay, so let's not focus so much on those negative ones, although you can see how removing those triggers might help. Let's look at those habits that we want to start up and think, how can I create a trigger for myself? So that's the first one. Our next trick is a habit is only going to become a regular habit if you are able to do it. And when I say able to do it, I mean it is easy to do, it fits into your life, it comes under the umbrella of, oh, that's doable. That's why tiny habits can be so effective. If we try to take on a habit that is too hard, it's like too much change too quick. And there's part of our brain that just wants to get back to a safer place again. So pick a tiny habit that you can do. If you're wanting to be really flexible and stretchy, maybe after every telephone call you'll do a little stretch, or maybe you'll do a couple of push-ups if you're wanting to build up yourself, or maybe you'll touch your toes or your knees or wherever you can touch and work your way down to your toes. Rather than doing a great big stretching session that takes a huge amount of time, that may come later. But when you're working at the beginning with tiny habits that are going to make a big change, it has to be doable. Try to touch your toes after every phone call. That includes two things. One, it's a trigger event. The phone call is the trigger event. It's easy. You're just going to try and touch your toes. You're going to do it regularly, so it won't be long until you are touching your toes. Now, the last thing is motivation. You have to want to do it. Now, motivation can be a tricky thing when it comes to creating habits. I said that you have to want to do it. Now, most things that we're thinking of in relation to our habits, we think, oh yeah, sure, I want to do that. Maybe it's keeping the house clean. Maybe it's losing some weight. Maybe whatever it is. Maybe it's making more friends and having a more of a social life. Whatever aspect of your life you're looking to change with these tiny habits, you have to be sure that you're wanting to do this activity for the right reasons. Now, it's a bit tricky with behavior because we're multifaceted. There's so many different aspects to us. There's the way we were brought up. There's the things people have said to us, the mindsets we've taken on over the years. And this last trick, this last piece of the Tiny Habits jigsaw is one that you need to think about a little bit more deeply than saying, yeah, sure, I want to do it. Why do you want to do it? Is it because you're worried about how people might feel about you because of the way you are? Is it because, let's take the house, for example. Maybe you want to keep the house cleaner. That's something I can relate to. Is it because you're worried how people will feel about you, how people may perceive you or judge you if your house isn't up to a certain standard? So maybe it's an external pressure you're responding to. You might be fine about the way your house is, but you feel that other family members or friends are judging you because of it. It might be that you've been told from a little child that you're one way and you want to prove that you're not. You want to prove that you're something else. So you're going to take on this new habit or change in your life to prove that you're not something that somebody said you are. All of these motives and thoughts and ideas can get in the way of us creating positive change and get in the way of us establishing a habit. So think clearly about why you want to do whatever it is you're setting out to do, whatever habit you're wanting to create. Why do you want to create that habit? What's the underlying motivation? And if your motivation is that you're wanting to do it for you, it's something you're wanting to change and create, not based upon external pressures or hang-ups from earlier in your life, then you're starting with a clear base and you're much more likely to keep going with that habit and to create that positive change in your life. Create that positive change in your life. So that's the third piece. You've got to want to do it, and for the right reasons. Now, for those of you who are joining me on this journey of using tiny habits to make big changes, how are you going? Where are you up to? What habits have you taken on? So the ones I've taken on is I'm drinking more water. I've changed my habit around a little bit. I've changed my trigger and how much I drink at one time a little bit, but it's still a tiny habit and it's still happening often during the day, and I'm feeling much better and more hydrated because of that consistency of drinking more. The other habit we looked at was more to do with our mental health, and that was getting up in the morning and when we first put our feet on the ground saying it's going to be a great day. getting some enthusiasm and positivity is in the beginning of our day. Now, that kind of can sound a little bit silly, but it's actually playing quite a significant trick on your mind and changing the momentum and direction of your thinking as you start off in the morning. So I've been really, really good with that one. As soon as those feet hit the floor, I've actually changed it a little bit. I've now got a little ditty, a little song. So I get up and I say, "Good morning world, it's a brand new day. It's gonna be a great day today." And I kind of sing that while I'm zooming around, getting my clothes on, getting dressed, getting organised, making the bed, all those kinds of things. And I've noticed it helps me being in a positive mood, but it also kind of lifts the atmosphere of the house. So I'm enjoying that one. I don't know if you joined in on that one. Let me know if you did. Put something in the comments and tell me how it's going for you. Now, the next habit I'm wanting to add to my life is one that I think is going to make actually quite a big change, although it's a small habit. And that has to do with this little baby. Yes, my phone. I am a shocker for in the morning, waking up, reaching for my phone, checking what's been happening in the world while I've been asleep, maybe jumping on Facebook, having a look, seeing what my friends are doing, maybe jumping on YouTube and having a look, and kind of wasting that very, very precious early morning time. Then I'll tend to, maybe lie in a bit longer and make the morning a bit more pressured. And in general, this is making my life harder. I've got some serious bad habits related to my phone and my time management around it. So rather than going absolutely crazy, I'm going to create a tiny habit, and it's going to be at night. I'm going to leave this in the lounge so I can't just reach out and grab it. So before I look at my phone, I've got to get up. I've got to put those feet on the ground and say, "Good morning world, it's a brand new day." I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to have my drink. I'm going to be started. I'm going to have the ball rolling already. And then I am 99.9% sure I'm less likely to waste morning time on this baby. So if you'd like to join me on that, please do. Let me know if you're going to be doing that as well, and encourage me to keep going as well, because that's quite a strong bad habit that I've picked up, and I'm guessing that you might have picked that one up too. Okay, so we've got our 3 tricks. We've got our trigger, we've got our making it easy to do, and we've got our motivation. We've also got the 3 habits that we're working on, or that I'm working on, and that is having our drink, putting our feet on the floor and welcoming the day with a positive attitude, and also putting my phone in the lounge. So 3 and 3, that's going pretty good. So please let me know if you are joining me on this journey, and if you'd like more videos also on this type of thing, and I will make them, and we can talk about this further. Everything is a journey, and especially this tiny habits, consciously creating habits in your life rather than just picking up things that come along. It is a journey, and it's always best to journey with fellow travelers. So if you're joining me, please do let me know by putting something in the comments below, and also subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this information. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.